I'm glad, Peter, you actually worked out a way of making me shout. The question I did want to ask you was about because you obviously you played Peter Wingard there beautifully, the kind of Jason King character, Jason Bentley, and that. But you did ask Peter Wingard to play that, didn't you? And what happened?
He said if I can wear pinks and ride a horse, I'll play the part. Wow. And we thought, well, there's nothing in the script that really gives us that. So we said, well, it was obviously a little bit gone, I think. By the time. So we thought, I'll do it. So there you are. And it was actually about 5 years before Austin Powers.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's interesting. The other day I mentioned to Peter that Peter Wingard is in an episode of the comic strip which you'd forgotten about. And every now and again we talk about episodes that we're not necessarily going to screen. And Peter Wingard, of course, in The Yob, plays a black-top man in a Nazi uniform. I believe and we're not showing that episode, are we, on this particular run?
No. No, it's not going to be seen.
Yeah.
Michael, it's not, is it, Michael?
Oh, that Michael.
Yes.
No, I said I wasn't going to do Michael Caine, and I'm not going to bleed and start now. Sorry, no. I so enjoyed watching it. I went somewhere watching that.
Did you ever? Did Jimmy Nail ever see that then?
I don't know if he did. I don't know why I'm using this because I don't think he did.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he did. But it was a really good one. That I really enjoyed the way that moved along. You know that. And that Jim Broadbent, just hilarious.
Yeah.
But Jim Broadbent running.
It is amazing, isn't it? The way he does that second run.
Yes.
That's
That
a great actor, isn't it? Who just goes, I'll make sure that I can perfect the run.
Yeah.
My one problem with it, and I've forgotten this, is it's too short. Yeah. I could have sat for another half an hour. I love it so much.
Leaves them wanting more.
But that's a good comedy, isn't it? But we shot it in a brewery, an old brewery, wasn't the old Whitbread Brewery?
Really, yes.
Yeah. Next door to the Blind Beggar.
Oh, okay.
Where purportedly Ronnie Cray shot George Cornell. I don't think he did, but apparently he did.
I wasn't there, it was before my time, yeah.
And what about for you, Gary? I mean, that because you're in incredible sequences there, which are what I love about that film is the gritty that is gritty, and then the way that it just opens up with all of that fantastic. I mean, I can't imagine that was an easy. I mean, I know it was easier than Drowning when you made Wild Frontier, but all of that fantastic choreography that you end up being part of.
Yeah, no, that was one of those where I was just in awe of just how hard all the dancers worked and the choreography that went into it, the detail, and just the musical side of the comic strip, which hadn't really been explored until that moment, like the whole all singing and dancing thing.
There's a lot of Keith in there. There's a lot of very good Keith stuff in there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Keith was very good when he was, when he had something like that to work with.
The thing was, Pete and Keith were directing together, if you remember, which could be.
We got there.
Remember, Pete?
I think. Well, we used to have one argument every shoot.
Yeah.
Well, we co-directed a couple of, or 2 or 3 things ago. But we always had one argument, and then one argument in the cutting room. But generally, it was
great. It was great.
No, it was a relationship that worked between the two.
Yeah.
Two of you.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Jim Carter has to be mentioned. Jim Carter, spanker.
Oh, that's a great Jim Carter.
Spanker.
Yeah.
He's got that back of the throat thing. Yeah. But he was perfect. Absolutely perfect, wasn't he?
I think it's much like when we showed Gino Full Story Pics last night. It's there's literally no fat on that. There's nothing. Now I know you love cutting things down, and I know you.
What did you want to see more of in that cut?
No, do you know what? It's not. It's just the fact that it's such a joy to be in that environment with those characters that you just want to spend more time with them, because I think the way that it has that perfect balance between kind of taking the piss but also having a level of reverence to it as well.
I did shorten it a bit.
Oh.
Have you?
So I tell you where.
Go on.
What did you do, mate?
What did you take out?
There was 2 bits. One was in the pub when I started explaining about our days are over and stuff, which of course we all know that. It was just that bit before he takes a run. It was where it stopped being funny for a moment, and we started going over ground we'd been through during the film. That was all.
Well done.
And the other thing is I shot the Gourmet Detective quicker. This one.
Dear old Rick,
There was a lot more stuff around that Gourmet Detective.
is that Richard Vernon? Is that the actor?
Well, that's Slarty Bartfast for
Oh,
fans of
yeah,
Hitchhiker's Guide to
Richard
the Galaxy. You know,
Vernon.
wonderful just to see him pop
Yeah,
up.
I know. The people.
It just got going better.
Yeah, no, it was an absolute joy to watch. Would anyone like to ask you? Yes.
I'd like to ask Gary, Phil, and Pete your favourite comic strip and why.
So, right, who would like to start on that?
Go on,
Oh,
Gary.
it's been thrown to you straight away, Gary.
Straight up, my
Yeah.
favourite one. Well, I suppose I think I might have mentioned it already. I think for me, my actual favourite one would probably be Bad News. I just think, just musically and the whole playing. Was it Glastonbury you guys played at, or whatever it was?
Donington.
Donington.
Yeah.
Castle Donington. I beg your pardon.
Nothing is nice
Castle-
as Glastonbury.
Yeah, sorry. Castle Donington going on stage, just experimenting with this, real rock crowd, and actually all the bottles and stuff. That was all real, right? All that stuff that's been thrown. And just the energy of that, and just the complete characters that featured in that, I thought was really funny. I thought it was really, really funny. Yeah.
The album's been reissued, hasn't it? With even I saw something the other day because classics like Master Bike.
Yeah.
Master Bike. There's nothing more that sounds like a mid '80s kind of on my Master Bike. Phil, right, you're under pressure now.
I'm thinking of. I actually think of detectives. I know because I'm in it and all that, whatever. But it's got something about. I loved it. It's good. It's very funny. It's just there's so many of them actually. But if you're on the spot, I'm going to say.
I hadn't seen Detectives for a long time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Pete. Me too. I did. I really enjoyed it.
It's one of my favourite things about doing these events because we're showing different episodes is that whenever I'm sat near you, especially if it's one that you've not watched for a while, I can find out which bit you're really enjoying. So again, Gino last night, you said you hadn't
Gino
watched for
was
30 years,
watching that.
and it's that bit where it's a
The
bit
Robbie
like
bit was so. I think Robbie was so great in that monologue.
yeah.
But Keith was great in that as well. I've forgotten how good Keith was.
No, I
in
thought
that.
Keith was excellent in that. It was quite un-Keith, but well, in a way,
He had charisma. He had great charisma.
He did. He held it.
I've got to throw in Five Go Mad in Dorset as well.
Yeah, of course.
Just that
The
for Dawn and
original.
Jennifer's
The original.
participation in that as well. I just thought,
Oh, God, yeah,
there's
they should
just
be mentioned
I think
without
they
doubt.
definitely be mentioned. But in terms of that whole establishing, before we know who the comic strip really are, that one there really holds well. I think.
Well, there was in a lot of the early ones, and they came back in later as well.
But it's interesting because we were talking before, if any of you were here before, about, I know some of you were, the John Waters influence. And in Five Go Mad, you've got Sandra Dawn, who was kind of a 50s starlet.
Yes.
And you've also got Fiona Richmond, who at that point would have been best known for, I think, being someone who wrote for Penthouse and was kind of, did a lot of kind of, sex films and things like that. So again, you're going through that thing that John Waters did with like Liz Renee and
We
various
wanted to keep
others
it
as well.
tacky. We wanted to keep it nice and tacky.
Nice, tacky.